Now, the federal election, as you may have gathered, is now 5 weeks away. Exclusive leaked documents show which parties are spending what. Turns out that one has 5 times the budget currently of the other.
It also reveals what states they're targeting, with some missing out altogether. For instance, $700,000 was spent in the major capitals in the first week of the campaign. Joining us to discuss who's spending what and where are global futurist Chris RIddell and advertising expert Jane Caro. Good morning to you both. So, firstly, one thing is clear: the Liberals are outspending Labor 5 to 1. Chris, from your observation, does spending more generally add up to better results?
I think this is where we're going to see this election play out very interestingly. At the moment, we're seeing a slight amount of targeting on Metro television, which is what these stats there are showing. How that translates at the end of the day, I think we're going to see play out over the next few weeks. The interesting thing is, though, how much Liberal are spending compared to Labour. Does that mean they're feeling super confident, or does that mean actually they're feeling a little shaky and they think they need to get their message out there more?
They normally save most of their big bucks for the last couple of weeks of the campaign, don't they, Chris and Jane?
Yeah. This is where we're going to see over the last few weeks things really being ramped up, not just in television, but Jane and I were talking before around social media as well. And I think where we're going to see social traction is how are they going to do this? How are they going to make their message relevant for people, and also really target the Gen Ys and the Gen Zs, because the message has got to be relevant and it's got to be on topic.
Interesting. Sorry to interrupt there. Interestingly, you know, you look at someone like Bernie Sanders. Now, he doesn't attempt in any way to be cool. Doesn't attempt to be hip at all. He uses his message to appeal to young people.
That is the point, I think. More and more, it's less about how you send the message or where you send the message. More and more, it is actually about the message. And if the message isn't right, you can have all the most wonderful tricks in the book, it isn't actually going to go home. And I think that's what we're seeing more and more in elections, because social media has created tribes which have a very strong view about what they agree with and what they don't agree with. And what also is starting to happen, and it interests me that the spend is so low at this point, you'd understand it because it's early days, but at the same time, it may be, sorry Channel 7, that the effectiveness of these kinds of messages is moving more to social media, particularly political messaging, where you can turn your actual followers into the media themselves at no expense. They will take your messages, unpaid messages, put them out on Twitter, on Facebook, on all the different social media channels. Much more powerful to have your Facebook friends sending you something about what the Labor Party's doing, what the Liberal Party's doing, than watching it on mainstream television, a paid message.
The other thing for me that's really interesting now, and we're all hyper aware of this, is we're distracted by more devices and more screens now than we are ever in history. So we haven't just got radio and that television in the living room anymore. We've got mobile devices, we've got tablet devices, we're on the road, we're watching content. How do you get that message to people now?
Let's have a quick look at this map, and this is a breakdown of where the money is being spent. Most of it in Sydney. Any surprises there on where the money's being spent?
No, because it'll be spent where the marginal seats are, and they're in western suburbs of Sydney and Melbourne by and large. So that's where the money will be concentrated, whatever media it's in.
Well, it's time for 9 o'clock news. One other interesting thing so far to note is that the majority of the advertising seems to have been positive. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep that up.
That won't last. Sorry to disappoint you. It's going to get nasty. Very nice.
Jane, Chris, thank you so much for joining us.